Hello everyone and welcome back for some more Angels with Scaly Wings. So I don't think there's actually anyone in the chat just right now. YouTube shows that I have 2 concurrent viewers, so I'm assuming there might be somebody else just watching. If anybody's there, please say hi. For now, we are focusing on Anna, this one right here, the silhouette. And that was the wrong one. We want this one. Finally, free day, what should we do? Looks like there are some messages on the answering machine. Let's see. It's payday, cabbage. The tests are ready, the machines are ready, the lab is free. Only one more thing is needed to get this party started, and that would be you. So you better bring your body to me, or else I'll have to come get it myself, in which case I won't be able to guarantee your safety. I hope you aren't afraid of needles. She's going all out, isn't she? And a speech level, wow, okay. That would take me a minute to see if I can calculate what that number is. That looks like that's well more than a trillion, maybe 100 trillion. I forgot what actually came after. Was it zillion? I don't think that was actually a number. Anyways, before we actually do meet with Anna, we are purposefully going out with Remy real quick, because he's going to give us a trigger towards, oh no, Anna's sick. So we're going to not actually skip the entire scene. We are going to vaguely skim it, just so that we can get to the whole Anna's sick bit. So we have been here a few times. It's, well, let's say romantic. Let's see what he says. You think so? Yeah, just look at those trees. It would make a nice spot for a date, really. I agree with that. Alright. Now, what did he just say? I haven't actually had this scene too long. Emptiness inside of you. Can't say I see. Is this about Emma again? We have lots of time. Yeah, well, we might as well mention that there's the children. We've already got his good ending. Yes. Anything else on your mind? Well, there's the whole thing about Anna. Excellent, we've got the trigger. And I'm actually curious, since we actually have this right before Anna, and he's going to be popping up later too. There's the whole thing about Anna. Yeah, you mentioned the last time. You mentioned that last time. Are you so worried about her? I am. Who knows what horrible thing she's working on in her lab? There's nothing I can do to stop her. You did what you could. The rest is up to the authorities now. I guess so. I can't help but feel a little pity for her, too. With her condition. I imagine that the Ministry's disapproval must have been a tough pill to swallow. What are you talking about? She has cancer. I see. Who knows how much longer she has? Knowing that, every day must be difficult for her. Remy paused and gave me an embarrassed smile. Quite a bit of time has passed since you arrived, and you've barely been able to speak. I've been talking a lot. So it turns out we've seen this before. Yes, we'll skip ahead now. So we just wanted to get that Anna has cancer scene, because if we have the note, and we tell Anna that we know she's sick, she's going to be pissed if we tell her that, well, we found your note and we read it, and, you know, invasion of privacy and all that. As opposed to Remy, well, it's, that Remy again. Well, at least you know. Can we ask him a question? Sure, let's see what he says if we, more than just a friend. Is that so? Well, in that case, well, the summer festival is coming soon. It's an event we hold in town every year. I hope nobody minds the exact choice that I picked. They've got fireworks and all kinds of shows. Alright, does that actually bump us back down to good status with? No, he's impressed. Alright. Alright, so he's impressed. Anna has passion over there. And we are going to go check on Anna next. So, that being said, we don't need to worry about having read Anna's letter or anything yet, I don't believe. That's coming up in chapter 4. There you are! I was wondering if you'd even show up. Alright, so, Justin, I believe you're still the only one in the chat. Are we an honorable person? Asking YouTube, are we honorable? I feel like that if this was a generic YouTube audience, I feel like that we would not be an honorable person at all. We would not miss an opportunity to meet you. Or we didn't have anything better to do. Alright, so this is, I guess I'll make this a two-part question. Justin, do you want me to be just skipping ahead, or do you want me to be asking you all kinds of questions? And if you want me to be asking you all kinds of questions, which option do you want to pick? Let me just, mute my devices for a little bit. I forgot about that. I'm not sure if Justin is actually here just at the moment. Maybe he's playing a game like Apex Legends or Crash Team Racing Nitro Field. Alright, so let's say that we wouldn't miss the opportunity. Or maybe Justin's even playing Skyrim because of that reference. Alright, so we're a glutton for punishment, huh? Not that I mind. Follow me, please. So it turns out we've seen this before. No, we are not skipping ahead. We are specifically not skipping ahead here. So, what exactly is this room? It's our testing room for research on live subjects. On live subjects! What exactly do you test here? You'll see that soon enough. I intend to use this facility to its fullest potential. I see. Let's start with this one. What's that? I can get a good look at your bone structure, muscle groups, and organs for this. For the finer details, you'll need a different machine. Would you please lie down here? Of course. Before we start, can I ask about your qualifications? You can trust me. I'm a doctor. What kind of doctor? Well, a doctor of pharmacy is the only title I currently hold, but I do know how to operate this machinery. It doesn't exactly inspire confidence. You think I'd let an opportunity like this go to waste by not doing my research? I'll have you know that I'm very qualified to perform these tests. If you say so. Now, please try not to move too much while this is running. And how long will that be? Good question. I suppose we'll see soon enough. I'm very qualified to run this machinery. Now, let's see what this button does. I don't know how long this will take. Let's see. Maybe I should read the manual. What do we do now? Just wait until it's over? What do you want me to do? Hands for you so you don't get bored? Now, I would like to say, I wouldn't mind that. A good answer, just forget I said anything. Or in the case that Justin is actually around or somebody pops up. What does a dancing dragon look like anyways? I'm not actually seeing anything from Justin, so it might be a very quiet stream today. I mean, in the chat, that is. So for now, let's answer, what does a dancing dragon look like anyways? Is that your scientific curiosity shining through? I can approve of that. You didn't answer my question. Well, I'm not going to show you. If you're that curious, you might find the answer in the seedier parts of town. Your town has seedy parts? Oh, there's a lot you haven't seen yet. You know, when I heard that something happened to the facility, I thought it might have been you. It's quite something, isn't it? You know, if I stayed as late as I used to, it might have been me instead of Amy. We can confirm that it absolutely would have been. And it's only because you told me not to stay so late, stay late so often, that I wasn't there that night. Still, somebody died. That look of pure rage in her face. Alright, see ya, Doppel. I think I was told about that too. It would supposedly be visible outside my front window this way. I've been forgetting to take a look. Visible to the naked eye, I'm not sure if I'll actually be able to see it because of light pollution, but have fun, Doppel. I hope you enjoy. So that look of rage on Anna's face. I'm not crying over that bastard. Oops, wrong keyboard. Alright, you can move again. Does that mean I'm done? That's a good one. We're just getting started. That sounds just like a Dean when we were back at the cafe. Oh look, it's a human! Oh look, it's a dragon! Ah, that's a good one! And here she is, that's a good one. What about the results? Don't hold your breath. It'll be a processing for some time. And the resulting data will be so vast that I'll probably end up studying it for days. Let's collect some samples now. Where should I start? Wherever you like. Show me your claws. That'd be fingernails in my case. I suppose you're right. It would be insulting to call those little things of yours claws. They'd probably break off before you could make use of them in any practical way. Just one more way nature gave us the short end of the stick. So which part would be fine for me to cut off? Take a piece from the white part. The rest of you see is attached to the finger. Hold still then. Don't cut off too much. Don't worry, I only need to put it under a microscope. There, was that so bad? You want me to put a bandage on your little boo-boo? I'll show you a boo-boo. That would definitely be my kind of response. Whatever, I'll show you a boo-boo, or you better behave, I'm doing you a favor. Alright, assuming Justin is still preoccupied, I'm going to roll some dice real quick. Unless, Justin says something. Or whoever else. Because I'm not sure which option to pick. I'm tempted to say, I'll show you a boo-boo, but at the same time, that might be the kind of option that will just, irritate her. Whatever might actually be less irritating. That's just the reasoning for my picking while there's no one in the chat. So I will show you a boo-boo according to the dice. No thanks. Alright, so whatever was probably the better choice. I had a feeling it might be, but the dice said, no, you pick the boo-boo. You be you. And what now? Now it'll go right under the microscope. She got up and sat down at the table. Intently, Anna stared at her device while messing around with the nail. Let's see. Putting your fingernail under a microscope is something we used to do in middle school. Quiet, please. There's a scientist at work here. Okay. This structure looks a lot like keratin. That's because it is. So, for one thing, you don't want to pick, is that supposed to mean anything? Because we are supposed to be a biologist as well as a devil. And we're supposed to know the term. So, it really bothers her. Is that supposed to mean anything? Only to a biologist. Because it is, I'm pretty sure that would be the better option. Well, that's not much of a surprise, really. Keratin is the substance that forms the claws on us dragons, and most of the animals here. At least as far as mammals, reptiles, and birds are concerned. So why would you retain the structure, but not do anything useful with it is beyond me. It gets better. They grow continuously, so they need to be cut regularly. What happens if you don't cut them? They just keep growing. How much can they keep growing? Pretty much indefinitely. Do they get thicker at least? Or what else happens when they grow? They just get longer. What a hassle. So how long are you planning to keep me here? Getting impatient already? I'm just saying, our date didn't take this long, and you mentioned you'll already have days worth of data from the machine. Well, we never specified any terms, and I sat out our date until it was officially over. This will certainly go by much quicker if we can show a little patience. Alright, yeah, this one is actually tricky. Believe it or not, the best option, I remember looking this up for confirmation because I failed this a few times. The best option is actually, it says the Queen of Complaining. I don't complain, I just point out errors. Besides, I'd be Empress, not just Queen. By the way, how do you feel about needles? I have not developed an immunity, but I have developed a tolerance for needles. You kind of get a tolerance for needles when you're constantly being poked for medical reasons. So I don't mind them. I technically do. Glad to hear that. We'll have to remove some layers for the next part. What are you going to do? These are just some electrodes, and I'll measure your brain activity with one of those helmets. Alright. There you go. What is it now? Well, I remember seeing on the same page that there was a difference in which to get the best option. It's kind of told in here if you're, I think, default. And then it's kind of embarrassing, I can't remember if that was just having had Anna's ending at all, or if it was specific to her good ending. I can't remember. So let's check out embarrassing. Let's see if she actually says anything, and then we can come back at some later point if we get her good ending, just as a test. So it's kind of embarrassing. Why? Well, we usually don't take off this much in front of others. Not even for doctors? Oh, we do, but that doesn't make it any less embarrassing. I don't understand. I mean, I get why you would want to put something on if it's cold, considering your lack of fur. But to have this compulsion to always have some layers on is a bit strange. It's just a social norm where I come from. As you can probably tell, we don't have the problem showing what we've been born with. This will also take a while. I want to have a good reference and see how your rates change. Your head shape is a little different from ours, but I think this one should do the trick. Perfect, just as if it was made for you. I'm not so sure of that. By the way, I can even be sure that your machinery will have no adverse effects on me. I suppose I can't. That is mildly unsettling. Your physiology is similar enough to ours that there shouldn't be any problems. I see. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions. What is this, a polygraph test? No, this is something completely different. I'm also measuring your brain activity here. Besides, I don't really care about the truthfulness of your answers. Rather, this is to establish the natural highs and lows of the values I'm measuring. Go ahead then. Let's start with the easy ones. Just say no to the following 3 questions. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. Understood? Yes. The questions start now. Are you human? No. See. Is your favorite color green? No. And there's our green picture image. Sorry, our green text there. That's the one. And I'm not sure if that actually changed based on the color that you actually pick up at the start of the game. I'm pretty sure I have blue on my notebook here, and it might have actually been blue there. So that's something I'll have to take a look at. Interesting. That smile on her face. Have you been convicted of any crimes? No. I see. Now we'll get to the real part. You can answer the following questions however you like. Got it. Did it make you uneasy when you had to answer all the test questions negatively? No. I see. Interesting. Have you taken a liking to anyone here since you arrived? Yes. I see. Do you have any ulterior motives when you came to our world, or is it as simple as we were led to believe? I think it was no comment was the best option. I think we're doing pretty well, so we should get impressed, no problem. I lose this one. I see. That's all for this test. You can take off the helmet and I'll take care of the electrodes. This kinda seems like an interrogation. I wanted to keep it simple by asking questions that could get a reaction. I see. It's kind of a shame, because in the end, the lack of additional subjects for this test means those results might not be very useful to us. We'd probably need a few more humans. Then why did you do them in the first place? Well, that is still useful, just not as useful as it could be. Besides, I did tell you I'd make most of them. Well, what's next? I'm not sure yet. Do I want to get close enough for to examine mucosa and orifices? Let's make a quick save right here. Because I'm gonna just say yes. Is that what you're into? Good to know. Alright, let's go back and let's just answer this. I guess so. Alright, let's go back and say yes again. Is that what you're into? Good to know. We quarantined Reza when he initially arrived here, but skipped the procedure with you. After examining Reza, we didn't think humans by themselves posed any danger. Nevertheless, we know that what kind of illnesses and bacteria you might be housing. Who knows what kind of illnesses and bacteria you might be housing as an alternative host? I'm not taking that risk without a full protective suit. Does that mean your procedures are going to get a lot more invasive? No, I'm not in the mood to put the suit on and sterilize the whole room. To be fair, I haven't heard of anyone I've been in contact with getting any strange diseases thus far. Sure, then I'd have to ask you if any of those actually got close enough to you. As in, intimately close. No orifice examinations then. For the next part, we'll actually have to go outside. That sounds like fun. Depends. Here, strap this to your arm. What is this? A handheld monitor. I want to measure how you perform during exercise. Yes, ma'am. That's a good little human. Let's go then, shall we? Sure thing. And now, take one lap around the block. I'll be waiting for you here. You can go as fast or as slow as you want, but try not to stop until you're back here. I'll be monitoring you, so I'll know that if you try to do anything fishy. I wouldn't do such a thing. Though I believe it's no need to point out the obvious. You wouldn't believe the kinds of people I have to deal with sometimes. I could say the same thing. Is that so? Anyways, you can start whenever. The monitor should take care of the rest. Trying for a constant speed, I started with a light jog. Soon I was outside the gate and around the corner when I met an unexpected surprise. Oh, hello, Cabbage. It's good to see you. What are you doing here? Can't talk now, I'll see you later? That would probably be the answer that we want. Made a bet with Anna, now I have to do some tests for her. Nothing special, just going out for a jog. Can't talk now, see you later. Okay, have fun. Well, he did take that a lot better than I was expecting. Smiling. Afterwards, I finished my lap around the block, arriving only a few minutes after I had started. There you are, not bad. Anyways, I've got your data, so we can head back inside if you're not too exhausted to walk. Of course. Looking at your data, it's kind of hard to evaluate it without any reference points. How much exercise do you usually get? A lot. I see. I don't actually get a whole lot of exercise. You sure get to ask me a lot of questions here. It's all part of the tests. Though, I think those were all the tests I needed to run on you for today. Does that mean we're done here? Oh, some of the data from the scanning machine has been processed. We can take a look at some pretty pictures of you. Excuse me. Some pretty pictures of us. Unflattering as they may be, why don't you put them out and have them framed? I'm tempted to say pretty pictures of you instead, but, why don't you print them out and have them framed? Or better still, sell the prints and I could make bank doing it. Thanks for the idea. Wouldn't I deserve royalties from that? Sorry, no such written agreement exists. Oh right, I totally forgot that you are a mammal. To encounter an intelligent mammal of all things, well, reasonably intelligent at the very least. Why is that so surprising? We already have our myths about humans. Sorry, your myths about humans. Myths are myths. Having you here in the flesh is an entirely different thing. It's not like I could use our myths to get a scan like this one. It just seems so funny to me. Do you nurse your young from your teats as well? We do. Let me study your muscle groups for a bit. You want me to take off my clothes again? I meant the pictures. Oh, I see. You can stay for a bit longer in case I have any questions. Okay? While I continued sitting on the bed, and this is where we're gonna see if we did good, bad, or indifferent. While I continued sitting on the bed, she went up to her table and started looking at the scans of muscle groups. As we talked, her eyes never left the screen. Some of these structures are very similar to those found in Damien's kind. I'm not surprised, his stature is similar enough. True, true. Now shut up and let me concentrate. Does that approach ever work? What are you talking about? You being that rude to everyone. Sorry. We're good. You apologized. That's a new one. I don't want to make any excuses, but with a high-pressure job like mine, I don't really get to go out and socialize much. And some deteriorating circumstances to that, you get my life. Don't you have any friends? Not really. If you keep skipping grades like I did, and we're on the fast track in university, you wouldn't really have the time to make or keep any friends either. Alright, I believe that's press status. I think the last time I had a real friend was more than a decade ago. Alright, so that means that angels with broken hearts is at least a decade before the humans came into the portal here. What happened to that friend? Well... Ooh, we get a story time. We definitely must have press status. We went to the same class for a while. I ended up skipping a grade after that year. She found a new friend. I didn't. Sorry, she found new friends. I didn't. We still met, but those visits became less and less frequent as time went on. I was around 10 years old when her parents prompted me to visit her. She was in the hospital. Apparently she had been for some time already. I didn't know because I hadn't seen her for quite a while at that point. She had contracted some sort of degenerative disease that caused her to gradually lose control of her muscles. Her case was particularly bad. She was already paralyzed from the neck down by the time I went to visit her. When I entered the room, I couldn't even pretend to be her friend. Lying in the bed was just a crude image of her former self. It was as if she was already dead. I couldn't bear to see her like that. It scared me. I didn't stay long. Seeing her like that was I just told myself I didn't want to, never wanted to end up like her, dying slowly, painfully, and alone. That was the last time I saw her. She died a few weeks later. And that's why you became a scientist? Not really. I became a scientist because that's apparently what I'm good at. That doesn't make my work any less important, though. Just from what we did here today, we might make a few breakthroughs in several areas. Really? You are a completely different, yet stable evolutionary line. There are some things that are similar in our bodies and others that are completely different. Anything that is different and works and tells something new about biology. All the various species have their own challenges and diseases. They'll come in handy somewhere for sure. And you're doing all that because you're a pure, unselfish heart? Not really, but if I do the brunt of the work, then I deserve to have my name on it. I guess so. Well, I think that's it for today. You can go if you like. Sure, thanks for having me. My pleasure. We can get together if you want to. Is there even anything left for you to test? Well, I'll have plenty of data for a while, so I guess we'd have to find something else for us to do. I see. Well, I'll leave you to your work then. Alright, so that, again, absolutely sounds like we have rest status. Loss. Intuition. And there's Sebastian in the background. Sorry about that. I woke with my eyes fixed on the ceiling wallpaper. A sense of dread lingered from a nightmare I no longer remembered. How many more times would I see this apartment before I returned to my own world? Or something happened to me? I got ready for the day and tried to shake off those thoughts. Hey, Cabbage. And right on the minute. You show up like this every day like clockwork. Clocks are reliable, and reliable is good in this line of work. I think you can guess why I'm here. Is it Pez again? What happened this time? The Chief will explain everything once we get there. Let's not keep him waiting, shall we? So it turns out we've seen this before, and we could technically not skip to see the little reference to Remy coming up with Vara, as well as Emily biting Adine's leg because it's so tasty. But we are not focusing on either today, so we will just skip ahead. There's really no loss for a story regarding Anna here. And there's no loss for skipping this either. We just have plot armor donned on both Sebastian and Bryce. And unfortunately Maverick he's got a cursed plot armor. He always dies. He almost always dies. I think there was our evil ending in which we actually didn't get Maverick, and there was also Nadine's good ending in which we didn't actually lose Maverick either. It was Reza instead, and the administrator, Izumi. Race's bad ending might have actually saved Maverick as well. It seems like that he just dies a lot. He's got cursed armor. If anything, with you there, we might be able to convince him to give up. We're talking about the house, confronting Reza, we'll see about that. I suppose if it's necessary, I'll play along. They can use me as backup, calm things down, yada yada yada. Let's just skip ahead. Let Maverick leave, because we're not focusing on Bryce, we don't have the trigger. I'll do it, because apparently the plot armor protects Bryce. It's just a nice thing to do to not try and kill him. Alright, so bandages to the facility will take us to Anna, that's for sure. PDAs to the library will take us to Remy. Eggs to the hatchery will take us to Anna, who's at the witness, will take us to poor Lorem, who, at this point, status, yep, he's Rep. So, Lorem is the only one who does not have plot armor yet, and we'll be fixing that in another 4-ish streams. So let's take advantages to the facility. We can visit Anna. When I approached Anna's lab, I saw her sitting on the hallway floor, the door to her lab wide open. Hey, Anna. Oh, it's you. Oh, and let's check the statuses. Okay, so we don't actually have impressed status. I'm, well, impressed. We have impressed Remy, but good Anna. Alright. What's going on here? The police came and raided the place. What? Why? That's a long story, and I'm not going to tell it now. Is it bad? I don't know yet. I'm not sure how they expect me to work in these conditions, considering I get assignments from the council and the police. And then they both turn around and mess up the place as if it's part of their job. It doesn't make sense to me. Someone is going to hear about this, and there will be consequences, I can tell you that. Anyways, what did you want? I'm here to drop this off for you, courtesy of the police. That's what I'm talking about. Messed up my place, then asked for my help. Something isn't right here, and I'll get to the bottom of this. What is this, anyways? Sorry, it's a bloody bandage for analysis. It's related to the resident investigation. Alright, then I'll take it. Not for the police department's sake, but for yours. Don't let me hold you out. I'm sure you have places to be. Well, see you then. Yeah. Right, I remember that kind of from her good status. Her impressed status, but it might have been more, much more favorable to us if it was impressed. I would have to take a look. We clearly didn't pick every option we should have. We were definitely screwing around just a little bit. Alright, let me just grab my dice here. Unless Justin wants to say anything, it seems that he's just lurking around, but I'm gonna just roll some dice on my phone here, pick a random option, whichever comes up. And it is to rest in our apartment. Nothing else is actually related, so literally roll of the dice, that's it. I decided to take a long break in my apartment. I'd already done enough for the day, and I figured I should take some time off. I looked at the bookshelf for new reading material, yet I found none of the books I hadn't already read particularly interested me. Poor Cabbage, he's just bored to death. Thanks for all your help. Now that the facility has received the bandage, maybe we'll discover something new. I'll take care of the remaining tasks, so you can take the rest of the day off. I'm sure you have lots of things to do other than helping the police department. Like reading books, getting bored because there are no books that interest us. It's no problem, really. My trip to your world wasn't supposed to be a vacation. Alright then, I'll see you next time. See ya. Alright, so this is, right, this is not the end yet. We get smacked on the head. There's the thud. Right, so yeah, let's skip ahead. We've seen all that. Oh, oops. Hang on. So, I've only been going for half an hour. We can actually wrap up Anna right now. Yeah. Let's get Anna wrapped up. And then we can do some tests later for if she says something else after to good status. That'd be a good idea. We can fit that in. Right, this is actually Remy giving us a call, I forgot. Hello, this is Remy. I just wanted to remind you about the summer festival. It'll start any day now, so I hope you can make it. It'd be nice to go there with you. I'm not sure how you feel about this, but I usually try to avoid the crowds. In any case, please let me know if you want to go. The summer festival, huh? Alright, so we're meeting with Anna. Now that we have a trigger, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get the good ending. And I'm going to go back through. I'm even probably going to bring up a page just for confirmation. See what she says and get the best possible impressed status just for that little dialogue. Since we have literally had the impressed dialogue ever since every chance for every good ending, and now we miss it because, well, this is partially Justin's fault. It's not just Justin alone. It's there was nobody else in chat to pick an option today. So I guess she's here. That'd be Anna. Hey Anna. And just for a reminder, I think this is the only time in which we've actually seen Anna crying. So there she is, and I'll let me just make that save here, so we can come back to that for a screenshot. Hey Anna. Hey. What's going on? You sounded pretty worried on the phone. We didn't get a phone call. So yeah, it turns out we've seen this before. No, don't skip ahead. Worried? If I was worried, it would mean I was afraid of something that might happen. But I'm way beyond that. I know exactly what's going to happen to me. It's over. It's all over. What are you talking about? First they came to my lab, and now they went to my home too. Who did? The police. Now here's a mix of not just her rage, but her crying as well. That's an impressive mix of emotions that you probably don't want to see from Dragon. The police. They raided the place. They had a warrant and everything. And I already know that they have all they need to convict me. I'm going to die in prison. Why? It's because of those tests I did on you. You'll die in prison because you took it. You looked at my fingernail under the microscope? I'm a bit confused. Why don't you start from the beginning? Alright. This goes years back, and you already know half the story. I was a brilliant mind who had skipped years at school and was on the fast track through university, with an incredible, lucrative career in front of me. You wouldn't believe the offers I had based on all my accomplishments. I was still in school and already solving problems that no one had even touched before. I had so many awards lining my shelves that new ones just went straight to the trash. I didn't need them, I just enjoyed the challenge. Besides, I couldn't care less about what some old people thought about my work, as if I needed their approval. I was already more than any of them could ever dream to be. The next problem I was going to tackle was an incurable disease. I started my research, but in an ironic twist of fate, I ended up contracting that very same disease myself. Whether someone had not been following health and safety protocols as well as they should have, or if I was just unlucky, I'll never know. The reality was that now I had the disease that was treatable, but not curable. Despite having helped in an incredible amount of people with my work, I was now the one who needed help. Yet there was no one who could help me. No one but myself. I was already planning on working on a cure anyways. What better reason could there be than doing it to save myself? I told no one about my affliction and set out to do what many others had failed to do. Any materials I needed to start my work were easily acquired by just waving my status around. I had free reign over my own lab. I could have even gotten assistance if I wanted to, but I knew there would only be liabilities. I even had a few good leads for ways to combat the disease, although the one that I chose to pursue is not exactly legal. Not without prior approval by the council. My research was promising though, and while I submitted the paperwork, I knew that these things always moved slowly. Being pushed through the various boards and committees could have taken months, if not years, depending on how generous they would be. I just couldn't afford to wait that long, as I was already against the law. So, while I was waiting for the paperwork to be approved, I had already started with my work. I fully expected them to approve it. Eventually, just how could they not, given that I was tackling an incurable disease? The method I was going to use was not necessarily a new one, but it was a controversial one. It didn't even cross my mind that anyone would object, seeing as I could cure thousands, if not millions of future people. But I was younger then, and a little more naive than I am now. In the end, my whole project came crashing down in flames. The proposal that I was sure to be approved was ultimately rejected, putting all the work that I had done into jeopardy. I had already made good progress at the time, too. After the rejection, there was going to be an inspection of my workplace in order to determine the progress I had made on the project, which they assumed had been within legal bounds and didn't include controversial things outlined in the paperwork. Of course, that meeting was just going to be a pretense because I knew there were already rumors going around about what really went on in my lab. In the end, I had very little warning. Thankfully, I managed to dispose of most of the egregious evidence before they arrived. They found proof of my wrongdoing, but since they didn't find evidence of how far I had already proceeded, I was able to deny most of their accusations. Using the controversial methods when it hadn't been approved was still seen as a very grievous offense, however. I was charged and sentenced harshly, though the sentence was suspended due to their lack of evidence. With all I had done for them, they knew better than to take away my license, and I was able to continue to work in other areas, under the conditions that was within a council-owned facility. I see. So I assume that those tests on me were against whatever conditions they set for the suspended sentence. Exactly. Why didn't you just do things the proper way and wait for the paperwork to clear? Before my paperwork could even get through, you'd be long gone. Using you as a test subject would have been a process that the council would have to discuss with humanity. As such, there might have been another trade agreement, and who knows what else. I just didn't have the time. Quite frankly, I don't even know how much longer I have left. This is my death sentence. You thought my test results would help me find a cure? And that's never going to happen now. So how did they find out? It's not been that long since I came to your lab. It wasn't just those tests. It was Reza, too. Reza told me he didn't give you any of his blood when you asked for it. Because that's not what I got from him. This was my life we're talking about. Do you think I didn't spend hours on the ground in the hallway of the facility after Reza's first visit, trying to find a stray hair or anything else I could use? Or that I gave him the first generator, I didn't try to raise his skin just enough so that I could salvage a few skin cells. How did they find out about all this? It was Damien, my assistant, and I'm not going to finish that sentence. He was blackmailing me. Why? Because he's jealous of me, jealous of my success. He found out what I was doing with the stuff I could salvage from Reza. I didn't mind giving him what he wanted though, I just wanted to live. When he died and the police searched his apartment, they found all the evidence he had on me. And now everything is coming down. I'll be punished to the full extent of the law, and I will die in prison. My work will forever be tainted. Not that I'll care about that when I'm dead. Do you remember what that childhood friend of mine I told you about? I never wanted to end up like her, but it seems not even I can do anything to escape that fate. Maybe I deserve it. Maybe it's my punishment. I have to die like she did, because I left her. I'll spend my last days bedridden in a prison cell, and no one will visit me or care. And you know what? With all the data I got from you, I might have actually found a cure. I don't want to cry in front of you. I don't want the attention or the pity. I don't want it. I didn't cry back when I was diagnosed, and I'm sure as heck not going to cry now. Alright, so this is our trigger. We tell her that we know about the cancer. And also, just as a warning, this is going to be very, very emotional coming up in the end here. Yeah, just when we encounter Reza with our choice of fate, I guess we'll put it. You're lucky hiding behind the screen so because you're not going to have to worry about crying on screen or anything. You have cancer. How do you know that? Remy told me. Oh, so he automatically said it was Remy. Alright. What? He must have used his position to look into some confidential documents. That's not exactly legal either. What a hypocrite. Why don't they just throw him into prison as well and let us rot together, huh? All those filthy bureaucrats, you should have heard them. How they don't want to change the rules because our tradition is sacred and that's how we survived all these years. Tradition now demands that I die. But you know what? I'm not playing by their rules. Never have. Actually, why don't I line up all those things they got me here and kill them? Because if I'm going to die, I should take. Why shouldn't I take them with me? I mean, I have nothing left to lose if I'm going to die anyways. Don't do that. Just give me one good reason. Because where I come from, we can cure cancer. You can? Are you saying that if I went back with you, if you smuggled me out, that you could cure me? We have the facilities. If we had the power from the generators we asked for, we could. Are you kidding me? Because if you are, I'll... Oh, it's the truth. The way she's... Are you kidding me? Because... No! Maybe we could work something out. I'm sure humanity would not object. Or maybe we could just give them the technology or the necessary methods. We've already cured cancers. There's no need for you to die. Why would you do that for me? You know, I didn't care about you. I just wanted your blood for data, just anything that would help me save myself. That's exactly what I'm going to give you. Why? Nobody has ever cared about me. People are always willing to use my research, but I was just a machine to churn out results for them. And that's what all the awards were for. I admit that I was selfish, always, yet I did great things. At least, that's what everyone kept telling me. You know, after that whole affair, back then and the suspended sentence, the rumors about me never stopped. Did they warn you about me? Tell you to stay away? I'm sure they have. And Bryce certainly has if we go on Chapter 3 date with them. Why are you still here? I didn't listen to them. I guess I just like you. The Council, Damien, Remy, everyone was sabotaging me. If everyone just left me alone, I wouldn't even need your help. Why couldn't everyone just leave me alone? When they gave me the manager position at the facility, it was just to distract me even more, giving me free reign over the lab, so I'd be tempted to do something I shouldn't. How could I not at least try? One of their oh so important founding principles is how every individual is important. It's clearly not the case with me. At least, they never showed it was. Now I see just how different you are. You're the only one who came to me willingly, and without any ulterior motives. Or did you? You invited me. I just took that invitation. Just to use you. And you still came back for more. You let me do all those tests on you. Sure, you complained like a pro. But you sat it out with me. I owed it to you. You don't owe me anything anymore. So what? Maybe you won't have to die after all. If you can cure me, I'll give you whatever you want. You know, there's politics involved, and I know it may never happen, but this is my last straw, my last hope. I'll do what I can. Thank you. So it turns out we've seen this before. We are not skipping ahead. We are I know my audience. We are not skipping ahead. Anyways, enough of that. I hope you don't mind me hanging around here. My place still looks like the police raided it. Oh wait, that's exactly what happened. Do you need help cleaning up? No, I can pay someone to do it later. I just don't want to be there now. Nice apartment you've got here, by the way. Not quite as fancy as mine, but this isn't bad either. I guess the council treats you nicely, huh? Hey, it wasn't my decision. You're such a VIP, aren't you? I can't be that important if your apartment is nicer than this. Besides, after your rhetoric about being wild and all that, when we went on our date, I assumed you were more the type of person who lives in a hole in the ground. That's not what I said. I told you I can appreciate all kinds of different experiences. I could survive in the wild if I wanted to, though. Do you know what I did on my last vacation? I started walking in a random direction. Spent a week in the wilderness before I came back. That must have been an adventure. I wouldn't be able to do that without tools. I could give you some tips if you like. Not sure if I'll ever need them, but I guess they could come in handy. Actually, there's one tip that should take care of everything. Let's hear it then. Just be a dragon. Then you've got everything you need, and don't have to rely on tools or other stupid stuff. Yeah, that's super helpful. How do you think I'm supposed to do that? Not my problem. Actually, can you tell me about your advances in genetic engineering? Maybe you could make it happen. My personal ones? Excuse me, I need the water. I was speaking more of your society as a whole, but if you have personal experience, that could also be interesting. We could do so much if we wanted to. Cloning, genetics, scrambling, or hybrids of our various species. Heck, we could even create new species if we wanted to, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Tampering with genetics is not allowed. Why? Our enlightened society does not see any value in it. Besides, you know about our creation myth, right? The one about a human creating you? Yeah, that one. It's the only one we have. Anyway, we are not to tamper with the perfect images after which we were created. And what would those be? The belief is that each species was molded for a particular task, or a particular role in our society. Really? Some of them aren't even wrong. It suggests certain species can go in certain jobs, because they're naturally higher aptitude in those fields. Can you give an example? Well, let's just say that while everyone can join the police force, you'll never be the flyer on duty unless you belong to a species that can fly. How much is a given? I was talking more about, is there any sort of discrimination, for example? You could say so. These structures can be pretty rigid in places, especially where the council is concerned. They really like to employ the members of the various species for their traditional roles. Ironically enough, the perpetual nuisance you know as Remy was a revolutionary case where that didn't happen. In what way? Well, a council aide, particularly one who works in the archives, is usually a member of a species with more dexterous hands. You can't really expect a four-legged species to do that kind of job well. And he doesn't. It's really been a disaster. He's basically become a laughingstock of the whole town. When Remy initially got the position, there was a lot of controversy about the subject. Some liked it, some didn't. I thought that for Emra, politics was a popularity contest. Doing something controversial and divisive like that didn't really fit that image. She was like that in the beginning. It certainly caused people to remember her, though. And now that people know her, she has changed her attitude a bit. It was a good move, because it kept her in the spotlight all the time, and she's using it to gain popularity now. So she just likes the attention? I don't know why she does it, and frankly, I don't care. You'd have to ask her yourself, but I doubt she'd tell you. I would expect honesty from someone like her. Politics always used to be so messy back then. Scandals, arguments, lies, they were everywhere. We do get the occasional scandal from time to time, and of course, there's always rumors. You can't really make people stop talking. In a way, I'm glad we don't have all that anymore. Why not? At some point, it just gets tiring. People get loud and argumentative, and those are supposed to be our leaders. That's not something people would like here. If you're a council member who wants to be popular, you don't engage in that kind of behavior. That sounds like a nice change of pace, that really does. Not necessarily, since it also leads to reluctant agreements on sweeping issues that should be talked about under the rug. You know what? That just doesn't jive with me. They like to preserve the fantasy of peace and harmony in our society. For me, it's just so fake. People pretend to be something they aren't to conform, because they don't want to stand out. They become faceless puppets, like drones in a hive or cogs in a machine. What kind of a world would we live in where speaking one's mind is seen as something bad? I have never held back. Now see where that got me. I bet some would argue that it would be easier to just conform them. I could never do that. Besides, I don't want to. There's this thing called integrity. And if there's one thing this society needs, that's it. Now you're starting to sound like a politician. If that's what your politicians sound like, maybe they aren't so bad. Sometimes I just want to walk up to some of ours and shake them until they wake up and accept the truth. Coming from Anna, that is about the most peaceful reaction she's ever said or suggested. What is the truth? Sorry, just need my water here. Excuse me. I'm a scientist. Truth are facts that are empirically verifiable by science and tests. After all, the tests I do in my job are to find out if assumptions are true or not. I suppose if you asked different people their definitions of truth, it would be very different. What's truth to you, then? Truth is what feels right. I share your views, actually. I know that I know nothing. Well, since we're going for impressed, if we can, we'll share her views. There aren't nearly enough people like that around here. You do seem to like talking about this kind of stuff, though. I'm not an ambassador for nothing, you know. You're an ambassador so you can discuss the nature of truth with different cultures? You know, if you asked the wrong kind of person, these kinds of discussions would turn very ugly. I'm certainly here to learn about what you're thinking and how your society works on a deeper level. Of course, I wouldn't just walk up to someone on the street and start talking. Maybe you should be talking to someone in social studies then. Not necessarily. Even if someone like that gave me their opinion, it's still important to hear the people's voices themselves. Okay, anything else you want to know? How much do you really like me? That's not the kind of question I was expecting. You called me when things went down, and you say you don't really like anyone else. So what? Is it that hard to admit that you like someone? You know me a little by now. And you know what I'm like. Whatever you're looking for, you know I'm not that kind of material. Not even as a friend? You want to use emotionally laden words to describe our relationship? We've met a few times, and that doesn't work for you? This isn't about me. Before anything happens to either of us, I just want to know. You want me to tell you how I feel about you? Even if something happened between us, you know it's not made to last. You'll go back to your world and I'll probably spend the next few years in prison. You wouldn't like the commitment anyways, would you? True. I wouldn't let something like that hold me back. People don't like me, and I don't like people. That's how it's always been. Right now, though, I'd have to say that you're probably the person I hate the least. That's something, I guess. I also can't deny that you have a certain exotic quality about you. Now you're talking. But enough about me. If you've put up with me for this long, it can't all just be your own unselfish kindness, can it? Did it to be nice, smitten with you since the first time I saw you. That may be true, but her most preferred option would just be that I don't hate you too. I guess we feel the same way then. You know, this might be our last opportunity to do something. Why not make it work? I can't. If you say so, this is where I know my audience. Is that a yes? Yes. She strode forward, reaching out with her claws before she hooked into the neckline of my shirt. What are you doing? Well, we have to take these off, don't we? Not like that. We'll ruin them. Alright. So fussy. That'd be the end to our scene. Alright, another free day, yay me! We can apparently only meet with Bryce. Why is it only Bryce? Adine neutral, Bryce neutral, Remy is obviously RIP. Poor Remy is abandoned. Oh, so we can get to match, so that would be, okay, that would make sense, alright. Alright, so we have basically blown our only chance to go out with Remy. But we're not focusing on Remy, so yes, poor Remy. And, yeah, that's the thing with Chapter 4, is this is where you have to make, whoever you're going out with, you have to make that choice now. Because you won't be able to go out without the other person if you're, double dating, seeing two people, whatever, at the same time. You will not be able to do that at this point. So we're focusing on Anna, and there's nothing that we can really gain from the first chapter of any of the other stories. So we're just going to relax in our apartment, and then we're going to wrap up here. Oh. Passion. We've got the passion back. I like that passion card because it is so very much like Anna, but at the same time, that is in no way what we would expect Anna to be doing. After a night of turbulent dreams, my consciousness returned to the shores of the waking world. Today is the day of the big fireworks. Who shall we bring? Anna. That must be her. Hey, Cabbage. Looks like you're ready to go. I didn't think you'd want to go to a community event like this one. Anything can be fun with the right company. By that argument, we could just stay here. I haven't seen the fireworks in years. With all the crazy stuff that's happened to me recently, maybe they'll just be a reminder of better days. Better days? You usually don't talk to you about yourself like that. It's just because I don't give a darn anymore. Who cares if they know about me? If you know that about me. Who cares if the entire town knows? I certainly don't. These days I'm just trying to make the most of whatever's left. Alright, let's go. After a few minutes of walking, we arrived at a rather empty-looking area near the edge of town. So much for the whole town being out to watch the fireworks. Yeah, I'm not going to those places. I'm kind of a celebrity, you know. Really? For better or worse, people know about me. Of course they would, given my intellectual status. Or maybe you just don't want to be seen with me. No, that's not it. Actually, it could be quite fun. It'd only be another reason for people to be jealous of me. Ooh, I think it's starting. We waited quietly as the stillness of the night enveloped us. Soon I heard the sounds of the first rocket making its way into the night sky, after which it exploded into a pattern of colors. More rockets followed, their thunderous noise echoing throughout the land. Suddenly, a terrible realization hit me. Considering how public of an event this was and how everyone would be watching the fireworks, now would be the best time for Reza to make his move. Not only was the village basically deserted, but the sound of the fireworks would also overshadow any gunshots, giving him as much security as he would ever need. The portal had also been repaired by the mysterious person I met. Now was the perfect time for Reza to make his getaway, and I was the only one who knew. Anna, I think we need to go. Now. Really? The fireworks just started. I know where Reza is. We need to stop him. Speak for yourself. This isn't my responsibility. This is much bigger than you. Are you going to help me or not? Alright, just for you. What do you want me to do? Fight him? Oh, and I just remembered, let's check the status. Impressed, alright. So I didn't get a phone call for Chapter 4, it's just, she was impressed. I'm not sure if that would be such a good idea. I want to try talking to him first. If you can buy us some time, maybe I could get some help. That would be perfect. He'll be at the portal, let's go. I arrived at the portal just a few minutes later. I couldn't help but be glad that it was still turned off. It didn't appear to have been used recently. But it meant Reza was still here somewhere. I looked around, thinking about where he could be off, or if it was worth waiting for him here when I saw something out of the corner of my eye. There was a suitcase leaning against the portal. When I opened it to check on its contents, I was surprised to find a few eggs inside. I had no doubt that this was Reza's doing. Apparently, he had broken into the hatchery again, stashing the eggs here, but he hadn't used the portal just yet. Why? Given that he hadn't left yet, he was clearly had unfinished business. I'm sorry for the inability to speak today. I don't know why I'm speaking so bad right now, but I know I'm starting to lose my voice, so definitely going to be trying to wrap this up. The underground building the administrator had told me about. The administrator had told me about the prowess of all the generators within. It probably hadn't been hard for Reza to guess the same, or to try stealing them from a place he knew would be even more deserted than the rest of the village was right now. He also didn't have far to go from the portal. All things considered, it was the only option that made sense to me. I could have waited for Reza here, but in the end I decided that it was better to meet him underground. If there was going to be a confrontation, I was sure I would have the advantage in a more crowded space. Even in the darkness, it was easy for me to spot the site where they had unearthed the building's entry, as it was in a roped-off area that I had seen from afar before. When I entered the building, I was met by a long illuminated hallway that was lined with doors on both sides. Since the lights were already on, Reza had to be very close. I wasn't surprised that the building still had having electricity, since its generators were also powering the portal. Suddenly, one of the doors opened, and out came Reza, carrying a large cardboard box. When he spotted me, he set it on the ground. Cabbage, you're here? You don't know how glad I am to see you. I've wanted to talk with you for so long. I even tried to make contact with you, but I couldn't with someone tailing you the whole time. But talking can wait. Now that you're here, we've got everything. Come on, help me with this, and let's get out of here. No. No? What are you talking about? I'm not doing anything until you answer a few questions. You want to talk now? Sure, why not? We've probably got a few hours, if we wanted to. Well, none of them will disturb us here. We could even get the backup generator as well after we send this one over. When did you realize that we were in the past? How did you know about the comet? I've known for a while. It's what I wanted to talk with you about when we first met you at the portal. How about you? I only recently found out. Looking back, it just seems so obvious to me. I'm not sure how exactly you figured it out, but there are so many clues when you think about it. Yeah, like Izumi knocking you out and saying, "Oh, there's a comet that's gonna come and destroy everything, and we need the generators." I mean, how could a supposedly completely different independent civilization speak the same language as us? What was that supposed to be? An alternate reality? No, it was just a different time. When was there ever anything resembling these creatures on Earth? It's not pretty hard to make the jump from dragons to dinosaurs, and some of them here look pretty near identical to the dinosaurs we knew about. And then, there are also some prehistoric fruits and plants, and the fact that their technological level is nearly exactly the same as our own past society. But we don't even have to think that abstract, we just need to look at the sky. The sun, the moon, even the stars are the same. Constellations change over time, of course, but we could account for that stuff. You could have just pointed your PDA at the sky and it would have told you the time period, including the imminent threat of being eradicated. You could even see the meteorite in the sky and how it would change its position day after day. That would be, in our case, the comet Neowise that Double is there saying in... there we go. Saying in the chat there. Comet Neowise, so, ooh, go outside, look out the sky tonight, and I think, look northwards, I think is what I was told. Look northwards and look at the comet that is totally not going to wipe us out. I think this is supposed to be the comet that's passing closer to Earth than ever before without actually impacting Earth. Something like that. I had a text before, I'm just gonna quickly take a look. I'm not gonna look too hard, but that's supposedly what this comet is. So, Helmet Neo-Eyes had to make its closest approach to Earth. Alright, whatever. It was from the Weather Network, and it's up for a few days, so whatever. Changes position day after day. Are you done being condescending? I guess so. You killed those dragons, Reza. What a brilliant deduction, Sherlock. Why did you do it? Do you really need me to spell it out? I thought better of you. After I found out the truth about this place, I knew just waiting for the generators we were owed was not an option anymore. It would have taken who knows how long, but I didn't intend to stay a day longer than necessary. You wouldn't believe how hard it was for me to acquire some generators. Some of the dragons didn't go down easily. But who cares that they got their generators, got back the generator system? But just this one, we won't need any of the others. How could you do this? How could I do this? Let me ask you this. What harm is there really in taking the generators when their whole civilization will be gone in a few weeks anyways? The ones I killed just died a little earlier than scheduled. Even if that creep hadn't shown up and interrupted our meeting, we wouldn't have the time for them to make the generators for us. How about we don't let them all die? They aren't going to be extinct anytime soon, if that's what you're concerned about. I paid the hatchery another visit before I came here. At the rate persuasion, I think we'll have plenty of reasons to at least keep some of them around. Bodyguards, border patrols, weapons, even as pets or companions, as long as we make the necessary changes. See, it's not as bad as you might think. I'm not going to abandon them like that, only for their whole civilization to be wiped out. Get your priorities straight, Cabbage. Next, you'd rather starve because you suddenly empathize with steak. And you're not satisfied with starving by yourself. No, you're going to let all of us starve because you want to impose your morals on everyone. Since when do you think that you get to have any say in this? You know why you're here. What you're proposing is treason, and you know the consequences. Personally, I don't mind if you want to stay here. No, I don't care about corporal punishment. Just let me through, and you can do whatever you wish. You can't do that, Reza. I see how it is. They've told you that they need the generators to stop the combat, huh? And now you've become their lackey. Don't tell me you've been drinking up what they've been telling you. You know they have as much of a vested interest in this whole thing as humanity does. And that I and you two are at least used to. Do you think that they wouldn't do the same thing if it was their families on the line instead of ours? Their entire world is on the line here. They live in perfect harmony with their perfect green energy source and no reason for wars or conflicts, yada yada yada. We had that too, and you know what happened then? Of course you do. This is such an idiotic trope, you know. Random person meets weird natives, learns their ways, and ends up saving them. What do they need you for, huh? Maybe they're going to be extinct for a reason if they can't even save themselves. You know of our sufferings, yet you will let them have it? I don't care what happens to them, but unlike you, I was trying to save humanity. At any cost. We have the solution right here. And you want to get philosophical now? Don't you think we deserve it? They've had it for who knows how long. Now it's time for us. Not like this. Do you think I like it? If there was a different way, I wouldn't have spent the last few weeks doing what you didn't. You don't live in this fairy tale world of yours, where there's the perfect solution to everything. You should know that. Just being here for a few weeks must have messed you up. I think I know why. Every time I read that, I keep thinking, I know why. Was it that girl, Anna? You got too used to all the comforts they have here. You actually don't care if they all die back home, do you? As long as you can stay here in this perfect little world of yours, you have discarded everything and everyone back home and replaced it with this. Maybe it is because you just don't have a life back home. I can even understand that a little, of course. It'd be nice to just stay here where they have everything that we don't. But being here also reminded me of everything I hated about our world as it used to be. The pettiness, the politics. Say about the solar flare what you want, but it leveled the playing field and gave people like us a chance to make a difference. For all our efforts, what did we get? Both those meaningless in the sea of stupidity and lies. Now everyone has to pull their own weight. We make the rules. You, of all people, should understand. Of course they wouldn't. They haven't experienced how it is. Lived like we do now. To see the world burn and everyone you know die around you. Because I have, I will let the same thing happen to them. How many times do you think how many do you think died back home in the 2 weeks that you've been here? Because we don't have the power for the hospitals, huh? Do you think those victims aren't worth mentioning? Or do you just care about the few dragons I killed? Oh, sorry. Wrong hotkey. Should show up again in just a moment. Okay, we need to try that again. Alright, should really not have my finger over the F key. Can I get another game capture then? What? Outlook? This one's supposed to be showing up. Maybe it's maps. Alright, so that's not showing up. Let's just quickly save. Oh, here we go. Excellent. Alright, so it's back. Sorry about that. Dive back home, you just get the dragons I killed. What happened was I hit F by accident and the toggles between the window and the screen and toggling back. Only at 5 frames per second. It's basically very easy resource intensive, so it's just not hard at all to render. It's very easy. That's probably what was happening between the game and export. Is it just wasn't giving any new video output. So hey, yeah, why would it update? Our last city is the last. Our city is the last bastion of a civilized society in a world where nothing else is left. Maybe you have forgotten about them, but I haven't. How many of us do you think will still be here? Will still be there in a month? A year? Or are they just a statistic to you? The same could be said for the dragons. What do you want to do? Talk me down from doing this, and then what? It's too late anyways. You think they're just going to let us go after what I've done? Not chance. Whatever you may think, you'll find that our leaders back home agree with my course of actions. In fact, with Remy, they do not agree with his course of actions. They, I want to say Pelt's term, but they did not like his actions at all. I think they exiled him again. Why are you telling me this? Because I expect you to join me. That's not going to happen. Can you call yourself an ambassador? This generator is the only thing we need for our city to survive. How can you even argue about this? The dragons also need the generator, and I'll do what's necessary to stop you if I have to. So that makes you judge, jury, and execution. What a wonderful set of morals you have there, Cabbage. You only need to wait for the comet to pass until the comet has passed safely. You think you can stop the comet, and you need the generators to do that? Sure, and if your plan fails, then not only is this world gone, but we lose any and all hope to save our world. We're so close now. We can't risk anything by waiting for your crazy plan when back home you're dying by the minute. I will not let you. You only wanted to save your own two-faced hide because you don't want to face the consequences of what you did. Text-to-speech time.
Self-voicing enabled. Reza. Ha 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 ha. Self-voicing disabled.
Thank you, text-to-speech. That's the best thing for some text. Why are you laughing about this? Because it's a joke. It must be. I'm the one with the gun, and you thought you could just waltz in here and lecture me. Listening to you was fun and all, but the grown-ups must get back to work now. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't stop me now, anyways. Maybe I can. Suddenly, Maverick and Anna appeared next to me. You planned this, didn't you, Cabbage? Traitor! And to think, I let you distract me with such a cheap trick, just because I thought there was still a shred of humanity within you. He pulled out his gun, not sure which one of us he should be aiming at. Just let me go, and I'll forget this thing ever happened. We've got 6 bullets for 3 people. Do you think you can really do that, Reza? Do you think this is worth risking your life for? I've been risking my life for this every day for the last 2 weeks. What did you do during that time? Sip champagne in your nice apartment? Besides, this generator and the whole building came from our time. They belong to humanity. Suddenly, Izumi came up from the shadows in the hallway behind Reza. And I say Izumi instead of the administrator. No, they belong to me. Confused, Reza spun around, aiming his gun at the newcomer who was slowly walking towards him. Who are you? Freeze! I said freeze! Want to waste your bullets on me? Feel free. You can't stop all of us. If you say so. He pulled the trigger and the administrator fell to the ground with a dull thud that knocked her mask off. My first instinct was to run away, but as Maverick started charging, so did Anna and I. Maverick was fast, pouncing on Reza before he had the chance to aim at any of us. Now the one thing that's interesting here is there are times where Maverick is shot 2 times, 3 times before he gets to Reza. And then there's also, well, now for instance, where he gets to Reza before Reza can shoot him. He's knocked to the ground and Maverick embedded his teeth into the body before him. Reza was screaming. He aimed at Maverick's head and frantically pulled the trigger twice. His jaws dislodged and Reza aimed his gun in my direction. Out of nowhere, Anna tackled me, shoving us both out of the way just before Reza unloaded his weapon in our direction. Both of us were seemingly unharmed, and by the time Reza was reloading his gun, Anna was already up again and running towards him. And, look at that look on her face. He's in so much trouble. Just as he raised his arm and aimed at her, she jumped and collided with him, causing him to miss his target wildly. Ooh, that sound effect. She was on top of him now, raising a hind leg before slitting his throat with one of her large claws at the end of it. Immediately, he slumped, blood gushing from his wound as he helplessly squirmed on the ground and horrible, distorted noises left his severed windpipe. After a few seconds, his movement stopped and Anna returned to me. Oh look! It wasn't Reza killing all the dragons. It was Anna. She did the same slashing motion. So again, just as a warning, and they'll probably be after the credits, emotions, just seriously, as a heads up and a warning, it's a sad, emotionally tugging scene afterwards. Are you alright? Yeah. We went to check up on the others, but Maverick and the administrator were dead. We saw Izumi's face just a minute before, now it's hidden behind the elbow. Oh, that would be schizophrenia. I haven't actually heard that in the game before. I don't remember hearing that, I should say. In the weeks that followed, the dragons prepared for the combat. I, on the other hand, spent more time with Anna as she opened up about her condition. When the time came, the dragons executed their plan by utilizing the underground building's generators. The comet was ultimately diverted and never hit Earth. Even after they recovered power, even after they recovered and power was restored to the portal, I knew that I couldn't be able to return to my own time, as the administrator, Izumi, had deleted the coordinates I needed to return home when she repaired the portal a while ago. While she had her reasons for doing this, it meant that now my only option was to stay here. My only options were to stay here, or to use the portal and the coordinates she had entered to travel back in time and return to the day of my arrival in this world. However, I wasn't very concerned about this at the moment, as I spent my time in this world accompanying Anna on her journey. So, my mistake, the emotions are going to be right here. For her help in stopping Reza, she was awarded with the highest honor the Council could bestow upon her, citing her bravery, the exceptional service to the community. As a result, the case against her was dropped, and she was declared cleared of all charges. In the months that followed, I was with her during her cancer treatments and could only watch as her condition worsened by the day. At this point, she lived in a hospice and had become thin and weak as her disease had eroded her both physically and mentally. What did the doctor say? Who cares what the doctor says? I know he sugarcoats everything. It's not going to be long now, or else I wouldn't even be here. Not sure if there's any sensible way to ask this, but we're talking about less than a week. Besides, I'm the one who's dying here, not you. No reason for you to be so upset. She looked away from me as I saw tears welling up in her eyes. And to think that, in your world, you had already had a cure for cancer. How pointlessly tragic. Yet here I am, being what I never wanted to become. And she actually has a smile on her face. But at least I'm not alone. A few days later, she passed away quietly in her sleep. The council held a funeral in her honor, which I didn't attend. Now that I had been with Anna until the end, I had a decision to make. I could either stay here, accept this outcome and all its consequences, or by using the portal and Izumi's coordinates, travel back in time and return to the day of my arrival in this world. This way, I could get the chance to try again. No doubt it would be a risk to relive this roller coaster of emotions. After all, I would have to go through all of the events and their dangers again, but maybe it would be worth it. Okay, I'll just move myself here real quick. Alright, so that was Anna's good ending. Tragic hero. remember reading something about that in English. Alright, real quick. Here's the new gallery image that we unlocked for having Anna's good ending, which will leave us with Worms over here, obviously. And I forgot what the image in the far corner is. But, let's just do another very, very, very quick run. Let's hold tab. Skip ahead. Anna. Continue skipping. Yes, skip ahead. Let's wish. Skip mode. Skip mode. There we go. Wow, okay, so, where was it? What? Status? Good. Where's Anna? Okay, right. That would explain it. Yeah, skip ahead, because I didn't actually do anything yet. Production facility. Hi, how am I doing, Anna? I'm person of kind of research. That's all. Get some well-deserved rest. Skip ahead. Be with Anna. Wait. This is not the moment we're going for, so continue to wait. Skip ahead. We're good with the good ending. Spend the day reading. I'm fine, because that wasn't Anna. That cannot be Anna anymore. Skip ahead. Production facility. I have Orem. Continue having a fountain. Very calm, sure. We've seen live relationship. That's all. We will go to the portal, just so we can get straight back to Anna. Hello, Gabriel. I'm doing pretty good. I'm afraid that you have missed pretty much everything with Anna. Stream was going on for an hour and a half, and you missed everything. We were just coming back to Anna real quick to see if we can get her rest status and see what she says, because I remember something as a trigger. So you're going to see a little bit of Chapter 3 again here. Dates, second date, third date. Alright, let's go skip through Anna a little bit. Don't miss out on Anna's experiment. She won 2, technically. I wouldn't miss an opportunity to meet you. Glutton for punishment, that's good. No, don't skip ahead. Would you please lie down there? What does a dancing dragon look like anyways? Is that your scientific curiosity shining through? I can rule with that. You didn't answer my question, blah blah blah. This is where we started to go wrong, trolling Anna. Instead of, I'll show you a boo-boo, we should have said, whatever. Oh, I guess with the right training, I can make something out of you after all. The right training, wow. What now? Because it is. Yes, because it is. It's not much of a surprise, really. Irritating, blah blah blah. It says the Queen of Complaining. We have only missed the one option so far. Empress. Go ahead and poke me if you need to. I see. I'll make the most of it. We'll need to remove some layers to the next part. Alright, so according to this, it says it's kind of embarrassing, or it's kind of familiar, if you already saw her good ending. Alright, so let's see what it says for it's kind of embarrassing. Why? Well, we don't just usually take out so much off in front of others, like the doctors, we do, it's not less embarrassing. I don't understand, alright. Alright, so let's go back to Auto. Chapter 1. It's kind of cold in here, because that was the exact same one. It's kind of cool in here. It is, I suppose it might be for you, considering your lack of fur. Alright, so luckily our scales are pretty good insulators, as you saw last time. It actually goes both ways, we're pretty resistant to both heat and cold. So let me know if I turn blue. You turn blue when you get cold? I'd like to see that. That was just a joke. Besides, when that happens, it's usually too late to get out of it, again, unscathed. What a shame. This will take a while, alright, so... Yes... 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 no comment. Probably not, you might be right. Yes, ma'am. No need to point out the obvious. How can you say that? So that was actually only because of Remy, how we had him impressed that we said we had to go. Yeah, sure, no problem. That's just how I feel. Would you prefer a bit of lie to your face when we ask him how can you say that about Remy? Oh, sorry. How can you say that? What did I click on? Oh, obvious. Would you prefer I lie to your face? Anyways, I've got your data, so let's head back inside. We exercise a lot. And we should print them out and have them framed. Okay, so we're coming up to see how she reacts to the impressed status again. I continued sitting on the bed, she went up to the table and started looking at the scans of muscle groups, not looking away from the screen. Some of the structures are very similar to those found in Damien's camp. I'm not surprised, he's similar enough. True, now shut up and let me concentrate. Does that approach ever work? What are you talking about? Are you being in that mood, terrible? Sorry. I apologize, that's new. I don't want to make any excuses, but with a high-pressure job like mine, I don't really get to go out and socialize much. Had some deteriorating circumstances that need in my life. Chat with friends? Not really. If you keep skipping grades like I did, and you're in the fast track in university, you wouldn't have time to make that many friends either. Alice just hold control. Does she just anything new? Yes, she does. I wouldn't mind staying for a bit longer. Really? Well, I want to study those pictures some more, and I can't really have you around if I do anything serious. Maybe some other time. Really? Because you're so insistent, I might as well. Okay? You know how busy I am, but I can call you if you'd like. Sure. If I don't forget, that is. I'll leave you to work then. Alright, so that's our new bit of dialogue for having her impressed. Looks like we have some free time today. Let's skip ahead. Skip ahead. We'll do it. To the facility. Does she say anything new? Let's do the skip. The police came and raided the place. What? Why? It's a long story and I'm not going to tell it now. Was it that bad? I don't know yet. I'm not sure how they expect me to work in these conditions, considering I get assignments from the council and the police. And then they both turn and mess up the place as if it's part of their job. It doesn't make sense to me. Someone's going to hear about this. I'll tell you that. Anyways, what did you want? I'm here to drop this off for you, courtesy of the police. That's what I'm talking about. Mess up my place and then ask for my help. Something isn't right here, and I'll get to the bottom of this. What is this, anyways? I'm sorry, it's the bloody bandage for the analysis. It's related to the resident investigation. Right then, I'll take it. Not for the police department's sake, but for yours. Don't let me hold you up. I'm sure you have places to be. Well, see you then. Yeah. Alright, so that was actually nearly identical to the first time. I'm not sure why that was not skippable exactly. That was actually identical. Alright, so let's rest in the apartment. Yeah, skip ahead. Alright, here's the message for having impressed. Huh? An empty message. What? An empty message? Let's check the next one. There was another long pause. I almost thought that something was wrong with the machine, but then I heard Anna's voice. Hey, Cabbage. I'm not even sure why I'm calling about this, but it seemed like you wanted to hang out last time. So call me back if you feel like it. If you don't want to, then, well, whatever. What was that all about? Alright, so that would be Anna's Impressed Chapter 3 message. So let's just go up one last time. Yeah, skip ahead, we've already done this. Literally, 30 minutes ago or so. We know about her cancer. I don't remember what we told her about said cancer. Yeah, skip ahead. Don't hate you two, if you say so. It's a well-served guest. Anna. And we're just skipping ahead. This won't take long. Alright, so... once again, Anna, everyone. And that one was in 5-10 minutes range. So we now have Anna on the front screen here. Once again, a warning for anyone who's watching this again. It's a little late for the warning now, but this does have the feels for Anna's good ending. It is very sad, but it is still a very good game. And it is still worth very much worth just playing it, checking it out, and everything. Just well, I guess you have your warning there. So that being said, I hope you enjoyed, everyone, and we will see you guys again next time. Good day, everyone. And next week, by the way, will be Gorham this time, because he's the only one left.